Hey, Bob Coakley with Upgrade Performance here with a short video about what we mean by coaching forward. So I don't know about you, but when you're driving in a car, we're looking through the windshield, right? How much time do you actually spend looking in your rearview mirror? If it's too much, you're probably going to get into an accident. And as it relates to coaching, it's the same thing. We as coaches tend to spend too much time looking in that rearview mirror, evaluating people's past deeds and performance and calls. And when we spend so much time there, we don't spend the time necessary to help make the future look better. And really, when you think about that as a mindset, think about it when you sit down with an agent or you have a conversation with them. What is your viewpoint? Are you looking out and helping them make the next one better? Are you helping them make the future better the next day, the next hour, the next call? And that's really, in essence, what coaching forward's all about. But it's easy to understand. It's just sometimes really hard to do in the moment. So let me jump into how this ties into the coaching forward touch points. These are all things that you do unconsciously throughout the week. You may not call them these, but that's what we call them here at ACA. First of all, we're doing game plan meetings. That's those one-on-one time with your folks. You can do coaching forward there. Sales huddles, coaching on the fly, those informal conversations, and desk side coaching. So what does it mean when we talk about coaching forward in each one of these? So game plan meetings. So we might spend a little time talking about a big victory, something that worked for them, which is great. Let's dig into the details and try to deconstruct what those things they can do in the future based on their previous win, right? So in the game plan meetings, how can we help them make that next week look better? You might even ask them, say, hey, let's take a look at your calendar next week. What time blocks do you have built into that? And tell me a little bit more about those. Again, the game plan looks forward. We do examine the past a bit, but spend about 90% of the time looking forward, making them better. Sales huddles. This is another great team event where you can help people be prepared. You might even, before a sales huddle, you might say, hey, Shane, would you be mind being ready to be the first one up to share the progress you made this week? That way you know he's ready. Now, if you're concerned about somebody, you might even say, hey, let's practice your opening. I'd like to hear what you're going to share on the sales huddle next week, and that way I can coach you so you can knock it out of the park. Versus after the sales huddle, you pick up the phone and say, hey, dude, how come you weren't ready with a story? You know you're supposed to be ready, right? It's a different mindset. Help people be successful. Same thing with desk side coaching. Be careful we don't take a call, listen to it, and spend 80% of our time telling them what they did wrong or even having them tell us what they did wrong. You might listen to it and say, oh, what did you learn from this call? More importantly, how can we make the next one better? And actually just hop on the phone and start doing it. You might even take a few minutes and do a you go, I go. Practice that opening line so the wheels are greased a little bit. They kind of get some momentum going, and then make those calls and keep making them and keep making them. They make a mistake on a call? No worries. We got another phone number. Let's make that call, right? Same thing with coaching on the fly. Be careful we don't pick up the phone and say, hey, did you get those block of calls in? Or did you ask really good questions on the quote that you did? Did you ask them what else in addition to price would make them to switch? And they go, oh, man, I forgot. Or, this one was a little different. You know what? Instead, talk to them prior. Hey, I know you got a couple of blocks of time for calls today. Are you ready? What's your plan? What are some potential roadblocks or barriers that might get in your way to making this call block? How can we get them out of the way? Help them be successful in the future. And then this last one I picked up from a manager, and I really love it. We do listen and record calls, and it's a great tool. Try this, all right? Ask them, okay, in the next hour or before lunch to send you their best call. Ask what are they literally trying to do really well on those calls, and have them identify it and say, you know what, between now and lunch, send me that call. Let me know which one it was so we can listen to it. You're giving them a chance to do it well, and then you're going to help them be focused, right? So all of this combined with urgency really works well. So think about this. How can you make that next one better? How can you make just the next hour better? How can you make the next call better? Maybe a follow-up call. The next quote they do, how can you help them be even better when they quote and get beyond price? How can you help them with the next follow-up call that they do? You guys get it? I think you do, right? You guys are top gunners, right? So we want to know what it looks like. So great ideas, but this takes your focus to put it into your calendar as well. We talked about the big rocks first. Take a look at your calendar next week. Who are you going to work with? What are you going to work with them on? When are you going to do it, that block of time? If you do that, you'll be demonstrating exactly what you want them to do. I know you can do it, and I cannot wait to hear your progress on the huddles. Until then, I know things are a challenge, but when you're a top gunner, you say, what? I heard you. Bring it on. All right. We'll talk to you on the weekly huddle. Look forward to hearing some great success stories. Remember, coach forward.